All right. So I know on StreamYard y'all can hear me. I don't know what happened. That's crazy. Oh well. That's technology for you, right? Cause I sure was just going and going, so I don't even know where we left off. So hold on, let me share this a couple places. I'll be right back. Hey Malika. Okay, can you hear me now? I'm just giving a minute or two for people to roll back in here because I was having all kinds of technical difficulties with Zoom, but that's because I don't be using Zoom like that. Well, I do use Zoom like that, but I actually use Zoom for work as opposed to be online with it. So I was sitting here and because of the last brunch, and well, I said I wonder if I could Zoom streams the Zooms from my Zoom to my YouTube because I know I get a good following here at YouTube, and it's a lot easier for people to come into my YouTube um, than to sign into a whole Zoom because it takes control of your whole device. Whereas if you just click onto the YouTube, if you at work or something, you gotta click off the YouTube. You could just close your phone and all that good stuff, and it makes life a lot easier. Unless you're gonna be like a guest on the panel, then it's not necessary. But I think Zoom is a little more sophisticated and stuff. Anyhow, but I just wanted to finish out this drug laden article about these crazy psycho insurance agents who are super duper macho. They're definitely manosphere dudes. Um, or not. They're probably dudes who don't respect Rolo Tomasi. But ladies and gentlemen, I have returned. So make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. Um, yeah, I had to end that other thing because I couldn't even figure it out. Um, and I couldn't look back and forth between the chat and between my screens and all that good stuff. Now I know I have the same difficulty with StreamYard because you can't. If I go off of this chat page, I will end up sounding choppy. But I'm gonna see what I can do about that. Actually, I know there's a way to double screen. Give me 1 second. How do I double screen? Uh, oh wait, because it's on another tab. Okay. Let me see something here. Can y'all still hear me? Hopefully you can. No, that's fine, Malika. Are you guys still able to hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can hear me right now. I'll wait a second. Okay, you can hear me. Cool. So, uh, we'll start from the beginning. So, in interviews with Insider, the plaintiff and 14 other former agents described Arias agencies as a cesspool of sexual harassment, violence, and drug abuse, particularly at the headquarters in Pennsylvania. They also alleged customer abuses and fraud. If a cigarette smoking customer balked at a high life insurance premium, agents were known to run down a non smoking colleague to do the mandatory mouth swab, locking in a lower rate, several agents said. Sometimes, agents said, they would push products on people in financial straits, open accounts in the names of dead people, and put through charges without customers' approval. The latter, a theme that also surfaced in AIL customer complaints. Several former female agents found the aggressive, masculine culture unnerving, especially given what they described as the open use of cocaine, steroids, male enhancement drugs, and other controlled substances. A culture that is also detailed in the complaint. Again, like I said, in the financial world, it's a boys' club, and you've got to realize that financial fucking stockbrokers are young. Most stockbrokers aren't 35, they're 23. So you got a bunch of kids with ass loads of money running around with nothing to do with it. So they buy a bunch of cocaine hookers and fast cars. The best financial professionals are always fucking broke because they have to be so they can perform at the level they perform at. So one former agent told Insider she was worried she'd made a big mistake early on when her boss commented about her large breasts in front of colleagues, calling her jugs. Another woman who worked there told Insider she was compared to dog puke. Senior managers called the men in office studs and stallions. According to the lawsuit, women were called sluts, bitches, and whores. I don't know about that one. The jugs one I can see happening. I don't think you would have people calling people sluts, bitches, and whores. Not in insurance. Maybe in a stock brokerage office, but not in. Yeah, I wouldn't assume you would see that in insurance, but apparently you would. Hold on, let me just check the chat here. Yeah, that is a shame. So the agent who filed the lawsuit, Renee Zinsky, said her manager, Michael Russin, would talk about his erections during company meetings. Once, she said she was driving colleagues back from a business meeting in November 2019 when he began to have sex with a female subordinate in the back seat. The incidents are recounted in her federal complaint. In his response, Russin denied both allegations. A fourth female agent, this one based at an office in another state, said there was so much open cocaine use at a May 2019 convention that she moved out of the company paid room she shared with another agent. I thought everyone was going to jail, she said. A month before she left for that convention, she told Insider two of her bosses gave her a heads up that men in the office would try to sleep with her on work trips. One told her to keep your chastity belt on. She said she wound up being sexually assaulted in the hotel pool. She immediately reported the incident to her managers. She later claimed in a complaint to the EEO, Equal Opportunity Employment Commission, but no investigation ensued. Top managers at AIL were aware of allegations of drug abuse and inappropriate sexual conduct as far back as 2015. When a claim of misbehavior by two top managers at Arias was escalated to AIL senior management, according to two sources who were at Arias at the time. Insider sent 7 pages of questions to Arias and his attorney, Gene E. Novak, who is representing Arias and his agency in the sexual harassment and sexual assault lawsuit filed in April, which is now in arbitration. Novak responded by email. We do not comment on pending litigation or arbitration matters. Rob Jackson, former agent at Arias headquarters, who is now a regional director of a Chicago agency partly owned by Simon Arias, was the only manager who spoke with Insider on the record. He said agents who do something against moral grounds would immediately be fired and said our Arias agency's ranks were filled with people who all go to church together and gave back to the community. Let's just check the chat here. I'm glad you're back, Eyes. I'm not going to be going for too long. I'm just finishing this article about these wacky insurance agents. They live in and talk and so listen, I don't want to hear nothing about a dude from the streets talking about he used to be from the streets and he can't get into insurance. When you got these dudes out here openly sniffing cocaine, calling people jugs on the job, having sex with employees, just cesspool bottom of the barrel stuff, right? Now the reason that they're top agents is because usually they're pushing people, they're pushing product. They're like drug dealers. They're, hey, listen, you gonna get this insurance, right? So it is what it is. But it's also very terrible because it puts a stain on the industry, right? Imagine if these were black men, though. Imagine if these were black men, though. How terrible would that be, right? Like, that would have been front page news, though, right? I'm not saying, I'm just saying. But what I'm saying is what I'm saying. So, the Arias way. To find Arias headquarters, you turn off Perry Highway in the Pittsburgh suburb of Wexford onto a short cul-de-sac. You'll know the parking lot when you spot the late model BMWs, Audis, Maseratis, and even a bright orange Mercedes C43 sprinkled among the more modest cars of the junior agents. After you walk past the group of young men in t-shirts and jeans gathered outside for cigarettes, you enter a waiting room with streaming rap music and a collection of awards the agency has received on display. Upstairs is what one former agent called a young kid's playpen, with a ping pong table, cornhole balls, and boards and gaming systems used to lure 20-year-old recruits. That's the best recruits to get. I think I'm gonna start doing what this dude's doing. I'm about to rent me an office and start buying all kinds of fun shit for young people to do and have them come sell mad boatloads of insurance for cheap to their friends because it's cheap while they're young, and you can lock them into good stuff. So it won't cost them a rack a month. But if they spend a rack a month at that age, they'll be millionaires by the time they're 40. So Arias, the agency owner, is a mixed martial arts fanatic who commands a cult-like devotion from his sales force. At weekly meetings, a senior agent announces his arrival as if he's a late-night talk show host, as loud rap music fills the room. Agents jump to their feet, clapping and cheering. Every person in there goes ape shit crazy for him, a former agent said. Many mornings you can find Arias on the second floor, working out in the on-site wrestling room. Its black floor emblazoned with the agency logo. During a video chat with AIL CEO Steve Greer in December, Arias praised his boss for picking up mixed martial arts in his late 40s. Get you a CEO like that, man, he said of Greer. Super cool. Arias commands the top spot in AIL's agency structure, a state general agent who oversees subordinates with titles such as regional general agent, master general agent, supervising agent, and at the lowest level, agent. He also sits on AIL's executive council and coaches other AIL sales leaders. For years, Globe and AIL have treated Arias as a golden boy, honoring him at black tie soirees such as his 2019 coronation as AIL State General Agent of the Year. Greer introduced him on a Las Vegas stage that night, rallying the crowd with a call to show some love for Simon Arias. Give me 1 second here. Let me check the chat. Broke Genius was good. High Value Nurse, what's going on, brother? Broke Genius. Just got Shar, how are you? You said, look at me getting ideas, Malika. Yeah, I'm getting ideas. So, In late 2020, Globe's then CEO Larry Hutchison traveled to Wexford to celebrate the agency's biggest month ever, saying to Arias, "You've been an inspiration to me and everybody in the home office." Arias opened his first office in 2008 while in his 20s, and today has offices in 21 locations, stretching from Dallas to Portland, Maine. He trumpets his success with a heavy dose of conspicuous consumption, some days pulling into a private parking space in a Rolls Royce, other days in a Maserati. His home, just 8 miles from his office, is a 5,000 square foot $1 million English two door set on a 1 acre lot. The Arias Agency is the life insurance industry's answer to the infamous boiler room depicted in The Wolf of Wall Street, a 12-hour a day grinding of dialing for dollars where the rules don't always apply. Some Arias agents are so captivated by the movie that they slap Wolf of Wall Street hashtags on social media posts. Arias State General Manager Tristan Dlabic once posted a photo of himself on Instagram, muscles bulging in mid push up with a giant poster of the movie's felonious lead character played by Leonardo DiCaprio in the background. The agency targets malleable young people in their teens and 20s, recruiting at colleges, strip clubs, and even the car wash down the street, according to former agents. You know what's sad? What really pisses me off about this is that I tried this for quite some time to recruit young black men because most of the men in the artist agency are some kind of foreign Caucasian, like Russian with Mr. Devlavnik, or some sort of Hispanic or Polynesian. Meanwhile, I got all these brothers out here talking about, man, I could sell water to a whale. I could sell salt to a slug. I'm a sales genie. And then I'd be like, well, yo, get into this shit, nigga. It's all commission, just like you sitting here on the block with a bottle of Hennessy. Guess what? We could do the same thing, nigga. You see these white boys over here doing cocaine and fucking hookers. You don't think Hennessy and a blunt will be acceptable? I'm sorry, but I'm a little upset with young brothers right now. Give me 1 second here. Let me check the chat. Says, is he married? Probably. Damn, I gotta charge my phone. So let me speed this up because I gotta charge my phone. um. So yeah, sometimes they'd head to the Pittsburgh nightclub where team leaders would commandeer a VIP table, order bottle service, and wait for the inevitable curiosity seekers. Then the agents gave their pitch. Anybody can do the same smiling and dialing necessary to be a life insurance sales beast. Spencer Kozej, Klash Kalavni, whatever. It ain't Jamal Williams. Right? But Spencer Kozej, the agency's 2021 Rookie of the Year, tells Arias during an interview posted on YouTube that his high school grade point average was 1.8. But the 22-year-old Arias boasts makes $250,000 a year selling life insurance. In an interview with Insider, former agents at Arias described misbehavior ranging from the sophomoric to the dangerous. One man who hadn't met his targets had to let a colleague wax his legs. Two others who fell short were teamed up for punishment in April 2019. One was told to stretch out on a desk, while the other was ordered to drip a smoothie into his belly button and slurp it out. That is such stockbroker shit. That fall, in the Columbia, Maryland office, a group of agents who'd missed their sales goals had to put on diapers and eat baby food out of a trough. They looked humiliated, said a former agent who witnessed the bizarre scene. These were grown-ass adults. More troubling are the allegations of sexual harassment. One former agent, who started in 2021, the one whose boss called her Jugs, said her manager told her in front of colleagues, "You need to put your tits away because they're so distracting." Another told Insider that when she entered her boss's office in 2017, he would often greet her with an invitation to come suck my dick. It was an everyday thing you kind of ignored, she said. This is terrible because being on Wall Street, ugh. Yeah, dudes, fucking financial dudes are fucking pigs. Trust me. Like, they, but it's because they have to have no filter. You know how much rejection you get every fucking day? So they'll say some crazy shit to a woman because they say crazy shit to fucking millionaires every fucking day, right? I'll give you guys one. I remember it was December 24th, and because the markets are open on December 24th, we had to come in as stockbrokers and cold call. Well, the guy calls us, some guy from like fucking Wisconsin or some shit. And you can tell I'm getting back in my stockbroker days because every other word is a curse word, right? But so we're sitting there and, it's he's in like Wisconsin or something. And so I pitch him. I'm like, hey, Bob, this is Al from EJ Sterling in New York. Listen, first thing in the morning, my firm is set to release a major recommendation in the stock market. Should I have my senior broker get back to you in the mornings or afternoon? And he slowly says, hey, Al, are you some kind of fuck nigger? And I was like, yes. Will you want my broker to call you in the morning or the afternoon? And he goes, Al, it's Christmas Eve. You got to be about the plumb dumbest motherfucker on earth to call me to try to manage my money on Christmas Eve. To which I replied, hey, Bob, you got your money with some guy over at Schwab right now who's busy charging you 220 fees, sniffing coke off a hooker's ass on a yacht. I'm here trying to help you make some more money. So would you like my broker to call you in the morning or the afternoon? So Al, you got a set of balls. Have your bro call me first thing morning, day after Christmas. That call resulted in a $12,000 commission. Let me just take a look at the chat here. He says, shit, tits make sales. I'm just checking the chat here. What's up? Just ask Char. Broke genius. She said, they ain't about that real hustle. Yeah, well, Broke Genius, you seen the video I sent you, bro. You know that makes sales too. I think it's depending on who they attach to. What is it? Uh, well, eyes love to talk. This is what men are like when there are no women around and when we have absolute control of the situation and we're young and full of testosterone. A lot of stockbrokers are freaking horrible at math. And what happens is, again, as a stockbroker, if you're a stockbroker and you're 30, you're old, right? You will move from a stock, unless you're like the principal of the company, but you move from a stockbroker to a money manager or a wealth advisor, right? It's not nearly as high stress, but these guys are definitely doing some stockbroker shit. So a male manager who worked in the Wexford office said sexual misconduct was just a part of the culture. It wasn't anything you'd bat an eye at. And again, you guys got to realize there are no rules because all these people are self-employed. So you are just going in there conducting yourself like you are. There's no rules against sleeping with somebody you work with because y'all are 1099, so y'all work for yourselves. If you want to sleep with some random person that works for themselves, by all means. Occasionally, there were open outbursts of violence in the area's workplace. Some of it promulgated by a coterie of bodybuilders. In 2019, an agent who was eating a plate of chicken nuggets and french fries became furious when a colleague helped himself to a part of the meal. The first agent picked up the poacher and threw him into a door so hard it came off his hinges, according to sources who heard the ensuing crash. Renee Zinsky, the agent who filed the harassment and assault lawsuit last April, said she saw a video of the altercation because her direct supervisor, Michael Russin, got a copy and called his team in to watch it. He showed everyone saying how hilarious it was, she recalled. Though Arias declined to speak with Insider, there are signs that he was frustrated by the behavior. A former agent recalls him chewing out an agent who slugged a colleague during a 2019 trip to New York on a private jet. In response to detailed questions from Insider, Globe's Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer Jennifer Hallworth said by email that AIL takes seriously any allegation brought to its attention concerning sexual harassment, inappropriate conduct, or unethical business practices, and makes clear that it does not tolerate such behavior. Agents or others are subject to contract termination if they engage in misconduct, she said. She said she was responding on behalf of AIL, not Globe. Asked whether Globe declined to comment, she didn't respond. A magnet for misconduct. There are scant constraints on the unreconstructed 80s culture at Arias. AIL's policy of requiring agents to work as independent contractors means Arias agents lack the federal workplace protections that employees enjoy, a system that could allow a culture of abuse to go unchecked. And the light touch of most insurance regulators makes it easier for bad actors to dodge responsibility and exposure. I don't think it would ever get to this in a place where there are W-2 employees, one former agent said. Unlike with stockbrokers or other licensed securities industry professionals, there is no national database where consumers can look up an agent's track record, from customer complaints to criminal histories. That's untrue. That's because stockbrokers are regulated by the federal government, which requires extensive disclosures. Insurance is regulated only by the states, most of which require minimal disclosures from life insurance agents. The industry has access to national data on agents' criminal records, regulatory violations, and terminations by means of the National Insurance Producer Registry. Yeah, that's what I was going to say. But when I sent a query asking how consumers could access this information, they sent me straight. This information is not available to the public, Mike Turpin, a manager of customer experience, said in an email. The public state databases, on the other hand, appear incomplete. Insider checks state licensing databases for current or former agents who had been cited in an action by the state insurance regulator or had a criminal conviction. None of these databases surface these histories. Insurance producers face little risk of prominent public disclosure for their conduct, said Colleen Hunningsberg, a law professor at Stanford University who co-authored a 2022 study of regulatory failures in the insurance industry. We talked to securities regulators who said they make referrals all the time to insurance regulators and they go nowhere. It's not hard to get a license to sell life insurance. In Pennsylvania, where Arias is headquartered, you just have to be 18, finish 24 hours of classes, and score 70 on a multiple choice exam. If you flunk, you can take the test again and again. Rob Jackson, the regional director in Chicago, took 8 tries to pass it. Past criminal convictions are reviewed on a case-by-case basis, Pennsylvania Insurance Department spokesperson Lindsay Barkdale said. The light regulation makes the industry a magnet for rogue operators. The 2022 study found that Wall Street financial advisors with the worst histories of misconduct often switched to selling insurance after they got in trouble. Even in the absence of a national database, Insider was able to examine compilations of consumer complaints that suggest an aggressive, even abusive sales culture surrounding Globe and AIL. Globe had nearly 6 times as many complaints filed with state regulators in 2021 on its life insurance products, Arias, a specialty, as the average insurance company, according to the NAIC, which is the National Association of Insurance Commissioners. Websites that publish consumer complaints also include pages of missives from angry AIL customers, many of whom complained that their cancellation requests were ignored. I am currently attempting to get a refund for the unauthorized charges that American Income Life took from my account and will file a small claims lawsuit against them if I am able to get a full refund, a customer wrote to the Better Business Bureau on October 13, 2022. AIL ultimately refunded erroneous charges dating back more than a year. The BBB gave an AIL an A+ rating, yet the company had so many customer complaints, the Bureau published only 25% of them. The pressure to push products on customers who couldn't afford them was heart-wrenching to one agent, who told Insider her supervisor urged her to sell a policy to the woman in the middle of nowhere in Pennsylvania who could barely afford to pay her phone bill. I was losing my soul, she said. Just as Arias customers are felled by thin regulation, Arias agents enjoy few legal protections. AIL won't hire agents unless they sign a contract that classifies them as independent contractors, leaving them with few safeguards against workplace discrimination. As of 2003, AIL offered sexual harassment training only to employees, not to its 2,300 agents, according to a summary judgment in an earlier sexual harassment lawsuit. Hallworth did not respond when Insider asked whether AIL agents today get such training. Several agents who worked at Arias recently said they did not receive it. Well, you're not going to get that kind of training as a sinking my creator. What's going on? If I worked for 200K plus, I wouldn't risk any kind of road rage. Yeah, you'd be surprised. Have I seen this show Industry? I have not seen that show yet. Malika, I'll have to check it out. So again, ladies and gentlemen, if you're enjoying the content, make sure you hit that like, drop a comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you're made aware every time I release new content. And as always, share, share, share. Lastly, to contribute to channel growth or to schedule an appointment with a licensed financial professional, the links are in the description of this video. By the way, if you go to my website, adhwealth.com, you're going to see this huge banner that says something about a lawsuit and all this other stuff. That banner is a class action lawsuit that insurance agents are in against an insurance company called FFL, Family First Life, because they forced insurance agents to purchase at least $1,000 worth of leads a week, and they were generally recycled, etc. So just so you guys know, I think you would enjoy it. Season 2 came out last year. I have to check it out. So let me get through this real quick. A group of various agents are plaintiffs in a class action lawsuit filed in federal court in Pittsburgh last July. The complaint alleges that Arias and AIL misclassified their agents as independent contractors. In reality, the agents argued, they are treated as employees. The company dictates agents' hours, their dress, and where they work. The two sides have agreed to arbitration. Yeah, no, if I'm an independent contractor, you can't dictate when I come, where I go, who, what, when, where, why, or how. Unless the agents prevail, they are without federal protections, and there is little they can do if their bosses illegally harass or abuse them. Misogynistic, hostile, and unethical. Renee Zinsky was making about $20,000 a year delivering pizzas when she got a call from a high school acquaintance who pitched her on this amazing job where she could make great money. She interviewed at Ayers headquarters at age 24 and was beyond excited, she said. When an interview told her she'd make so much money she'd be able to retire in 10 years, she was hooked. Zinsky started at Arias in March of 2019 at the Westford headquarters. 3 years later, she filed suit. Her federal complaint against AIL, Arias agencies, Simon Arias, and her boss Michael Russin and his companies, Russin Financial and Russin Group, details shocking allegations that included sexual assault, drug use, and physical violence. Damn, this article is long. So I'll keep going through a little bit of it. She started in 2019. She had signed the mandatory arbitration agreement with AIL and RIS agencies, barring her from filing a lawsuit. She believed a federal law passed in early 2022 that would allow her lawsuit to move forward anyway. But a federal judge thought differently, ruling in July that her allegations against Arias and AIL would move to arbitration instead. Nzinski's complaint, filed in September with the American Arbitration Association, obtained by Insider, and in her original lawsuit, she alleges that AL and Arias had knowledge of a highly misogynistic, hostile, unethical, unlawful, toxic, and cult like workplace culture. Only the case against Russin, who was not named in the arbitration agreement, would proceed in court. So, a promotion of If You Blow Me. Over the din of Muzak and the banter of families foraging for back to school supplies at a mall near Pittsburgh in August, Zinsky is doing her best to tell a harrowing tale. Taped to the wall in the back office of a gift shop where she now works are two photos of her former boss, Russin. If you see this man in the store, and a note reads, please call mall security and ask him to leave. So she got her insurance license in early 2019 and was so gung ho about the job that she initially dismissed the reports she heard from her trainer, a female agent, who told Zinsky women were expected to sleep with their male bosses. Eh. I mean, the difficulty is, yes, I'm not gonna read the rest of this because it goes on for it's like another friggin' like 7 pages of stuff. So long story short, these guys are really toxic. You know what? I'll share the link to the article. Hold on, what is it? Copy URL. Here we go. I'll share the link to the article in the chat if you want to read the chat yourself. The article yourself. Because it's a long article. Whoops. But I'm about to hop off of this, go get me something to eat and all that good stuff. Probably watch me some tomfoolery online as well. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. Wipe ass, work in progress every day and see success. And remember, ladies and gentlemen, when people challenge you, they don't challenge you to challenge you, but they challenge you to challenge you. Accept the challenge. Salute. And thank you, Malika.